Like Southern Bancorp are crucial for many underserved urban and rural communities, filling a gap left by a lot of big banks. Darren Williams is Southern Bancorp CEO and recently spoke to Bloomberg about why he's excited about bringing Legacy Bank and Trust under his company's umbrella.
Their team and their tools and our talent combined is going to be powerful. It puts us in 5 states. It gives us an affordable housing practice, a LIHTC business that has completed business deals in 35 states. Combine that with our mortgage companies operating in about 8 or 9 states. We think this is a powerful combination.
The deal pushes Southern's total assets to nearly $5 billion. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026. Last night, the city of Milwaukee celebrated its 180th birthday. Every year, the Milwaukee Press Club puts on a grandiose event where all of the movers and the shakers and all the important people and a couple of not so very important people and the stakeholders and all the political people. There were many candidates for governor there. There was the real governor there. Mayor Cavalier Johnson, of course, kicked off the festivities. There was a giant cake. It was shaped like a disco ball. It was very big. It was a very large cake. When I first walked in to this beautiful appointed room that they had set up in the Mackey building in the Grain Exchange on 200 East Michigan. Beautiful building, beautiful design and layout of this classic Gothic architecture structure where they had the city's 180th birthday party. And I'm talking to people and mixing and mingling with people. And there's some people that you're meeting for the first time. And then there's some people that you run into that you've talked really bad about on the radio. All of those people are going to be there. But it was a really, really good time. Lots of networking. The food was fantastic. Catered by Bartolotta's. You can never go wrong with catering by Bartolotta's. But it was a really, really good time. And as I'm there talking to people and laughing with people, being recognized by people that I would never think in a million years would listen to my show. There was a fella. I don't know this fella. Never seen this fella before in my entire life. He looked like a Republican. You know how Republicans have a look? You just can look at him and just tell. And that's not being stereotypical or me being judgmental. They just look different. And so I'm sitting at a table with a couple of my friends and colleagues, and we had some open seats at our table, you see. And the fellow that looks decidedly Republican comes over and says, "Hey there, do you mind if I sit down here at your table?" And the tables, of course, are huge. So we said, "Oh, by all means." And he looks at me and he points, which is usually not a good sign. Sherwin Hughes, and they always mess up like either the station name or the frequency number. Sherwin Hughes, 109.99 on the FM dial, right? The Sherwin Hughes Truth? Yeah, I know who you are. I don't always agree, but I listen to your show sometimes. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Republican fella." But as I'm talking to all of the politically ambitious people, because there were candidates, Kelda Royce drove down from Madison to attend. She, of course, is a Democrat running to succeed Governor Tony Evers. Mandela Barnes, of course, was in the House. Bit of a breaking story on what I think is going to happen in the governor's race. We'll talk about that in just a little while. Joel Brennan, of course, was there. He is a candidate running for governor as a Democrat. Joel Brennan, of course, from Milwaukee. And I'm looking at all of these people, and some of these folks I've seen my entire political career. It just furthers my motivation in this current crusade that I am currently embarking on. So I did get a chance to have a couple of words with the mayor, and Chevy and I are okay. I know some of you don't like him because you think he's supposed to fix everything wrong with your neighborhood. He's supposed to single-handedly, stop crime. Like, he's supposed to go out there, and if he sees a bad guy about to shoot somebody, you want the mayor to stick his finger in the barrel of the gun. Like in the cartoons when Bugs Bunny would stick his finger in the barrel of a gun and then the gun would explode on Elmer Fudd. I think people want the mayor to fix all of this stuff when in fact we are the ones that are broken. So there's varying degrees of affection for Mayor Cavalier Johnson. I used to not be a fan of his. In fact, there are a couple of occasions where I have supported his opponent. Really, really supported his opponent right in his face. And he's one of those guys that he lets it roll right off of his back. So when I see the mayor now, and I saw him, of course, last night at the city's 180th birthday party, and it was a hell of a show. It really was. The worst part about it was they got all the elected officials that were in attendance and some of the other business stakeholders and leaders of corporate Milwaukee to get on stage and sing Happy Birthday. The absolute worst rendition of Happy Birthday I have ever heard. How do you mess up the melody of Happy Birthday? It was so bad, and it was too early for people to have been drinking, so I didn't understand how they messed up that version of Happy Birthday. But it also makes a lot of sense because some of our elected officials and policymakers are not very good at making policy, which would explain why they aren't very good at singing Happy Birthday. So they're not very good at either of those things. So whenever I see the mayor, and I see him, I just run into him randomly sometimes in the city. And I tell him that there's something that I want, that I deserve. I don't just want something because that's selfish and greedy. Every accolade that I have ever received, every mention, every honorarium, every plaque, every trophy, every recognition, public or private. I have earned it, and I pride myself on that. So I work very, very hard. In fact, mark your calendars, because I just found out about another accolade that I have acquired. On February 10th, 2026, the Milwaukee Common Council is honoring me as one of their features for Black History Month. So thank you. So I don't know how it's going to work out, because I'm supposed to be at City Hall at 11:45 that morning, but my show goes until 12. So maybe I'll have Kyle Wallace come in and do my last little dirty 30 minutes. That'll probably work out, because I can do the show for the most part. I just have to leave here in time to get to City Hall, to where I'm going to be showered with praise and honor for my many years, hell, decades of service to this community. But I don't do this for the awards. I don't. I do it to try and solve problems, provide dialogue, maybe better explain things. The way the media covers things in this city, I think it needs to be translated, because the lack of diversity in the editors and the writers of our publications here don't always consider the perspectives of the African American community, because most white people just don't know how. They, for some reason, because of their perception of colorblindness, because to them colorblindness is equality. When a white person is colorblind, that means that black people and brown people and minority people don't exist. And so I sometimes have to translate their stories to make them relatable to our community. But I do give a lot of credit to those journalists that go out and hunt the stories down. I always correct people if they call me a journalist. I am not a journalist. I editorialize other people's journalism. And sometimes what I editorialize is better than the journalism that they wrote in the first place. That's a whole nother story. So whenever I see the mayor, I ask him for this thing that I think that I deserve. And I'm not one to ask for recognition, because if you don't want to recognize me, then I probably don't deserve it, or I don't need it. But this one I need. I want a key to the city. What, Rhea? Well, don't everybody always has that same look? I don't think people understand, like, what kind of an honor that is and how symbolic that is, because when I put it out on the social media page, the Hughes Views Facebook group, where I thought I had an accommodating and friendly audience, like, people don't really understand what a key to the city is. It is like the ultimate access. It is a pardon for crimes you have never committed. It shows that you are one of the few, you are one of the elite that has worked tirelessly and has sacrificed endlessly for the city in which you reside. I think I deserve a key to the city. And so I put it out there, and people are like, well, what does it open? Oh, don't worry. If there's any locked doors, the Kia boys will be able to open them for you. No, you guys are missing the point. The key to the city doesn't open anything. It's just a beautiful, ornate piece of metallurgy. It's engraved. It's inscribed. It's got a little carrying case. It is a high honor. The amount of effort that I have put in over decades improving this city, and not even the stuff that I've done on air. I just did a little math the other day, which is usually scary, but I did some math. I have raised just shy, myself, me, Sherwin Hughes, no help, just shy of $900,000 for Democrats, with 99% of the Democrats I raised this $900,000 for being African American and or women. I have provided policy advisement to the 4th Senate District with 2 different senators, to the 11th Assembly District with 2 different state representatives. I chaired the Wisconsin State Elections Board as a damn near a child at the age of 31, making sure that election law was followed in the state of Wisconsin. In the 2004 presidential campaign, John Kerry, John Edwards against George Bush and Dick Cheney, I came up with an idea that said, wait a minute, why don't we open the polling locations before the election. And people say, well, Sherwin, you can't do that. You have to vote only on election day. That's the only day that we can vote. Wait a minute. Who said that? Where is that enshrined in state law? If a municipality has the staff, they can open the election commission whenever they want. Prior to 2004, you were not going to early voting sites. You weren't. You weren't going to Midtown. You weren't going to the Good Hope Library. You weren't going to the library in Bayview. You were just voting on election day, or you were voting by mail. So here's what we devised. I devised in 2004. Why don't we give people their mail-in ballots, which they can go and pick up in person? I also remember this is back before voter ID, so going to get your ballot was easy as hell. You go get your mail-in ballot, you fill it out right there at the election commission at City Hall, and then they take it. Next thing you know, as we promoted that, you had a line of people on the 5th floor of City Hall waiting to vote early. And then we said, wait a minute, maybe we should move this down to the rotunda so you could come into City Hall in the rotunda and you could vote. Wait a minute, since we can have the polls open whenever we want because the city of Milwaukee has a big enough budget where we can pay people and we can staff the election commission however many days and hours before the election that we want to, let's open up City Hall so people can early vote on Sunday. And let's call it Souls to the polls. In the year 2000, George Bush and Dick Cheney won the state of Wisconsin by about 5,700 votes. That was very close. In the year 2004, so the very next presidential election, John Kerry and John Edwards did in fact win the state of Wisconsin. Now they ultimately lost that presidential election, but we were able to double the margin of victory with our early voting program. I have done so much. I want a key to the city, and I'm barely even scratching the surface. I'm a tireless fighter and crusader for education. I think the more educated our young people are, the more solid our workforce is, and more importantly, the safer our communities are. If you go to some of the safest communities anywhere in the United States, what do people have in common? Really high levels of education and almost unlimited job opportunities, whether it be entrepreneurship or companies and corporations that may want to bed down in those cities where people have high levels of education. What's one thing that people who are incarcerated have in common? Low levels of education and literacy. This is why I push so hard to make our school system better and to give parents more options, because we simply cannot wait. And that is the best public safety that we could ever come up with. Obviously, I stress voter education. I can't even tell you how many times I've gone to voter registration drives and promoted them and provided technical assistance on voter education and voter registration drives. I want my damn key to the city. Now, I'm not asking y'all to do anything, but if you happen to see the mayor, because I saw him last night. I was like, hey, man, because he knows when I'm coming up to him whenever I see him. He knows what the deal is. He knows what I'm going to ask him. He knows. Sherwin, come on, man. We don't even really give those out. I texted the mayor one night. When I got this idea a couple of months ago, I was like, I'm texting Chevy right now. I need a key to the city. Because this has been on my mind for a while. But here's what I don't want. Don't give me my key to the city after I'm dead, because then I know I'm going to get one. We'd like to offer this key to the city to the deceased Sherwin Hughes. I'm still alive right now. I want a key to the city where I can hold it. And I can walk around and pretend to unlock locks. But apparently, it's a very rare occurrence that a key to the city is given out. Very, very rare. In fact, what's today? It's Friday? I think it was yesterday. The mayor gave out a key to the city yesterday, and I'm very mad at who he gave the key to the city to. He gave the key to the city to Peter Feigin, the former Milwaukee Bucks president, and I was real mad about that because Peter Feigin ain't even from here. Peter Feigin is from New York, and from my understanding, Peter Feigin never even wanted to come to Milwaukee, and Peter Feigin is no longer the president of the Milwaukee Bucks, so Peter Feigin is going back to New York. Peter Feigin will probably never come back to Milwaukee, so how you going to give a dude a key to the city, a key to Milwaukee, and he ain't even going to come back to the city of Milwaukee? Give a key to me. My black ass ain't going nowhere. A lot I want to discuss today. We got a bunch of stuff. We got the city collecting almost $120,000 from towing vehicles with unpaid tickets. Don Lemon was arrested by federal authorities. I also want to kind of keep things local today. You know, we have our Milwaukee Experience segment at 11 o'clock where I tell you about all of the wonderful and fun, exciting recreational things to do in the city of Milwaukee. I got some doozies for you for the weekend of January 30th. But I want to talk about my alma mater, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Go Panthers. If you ask me, one of the finest institutions of higher learning ever created by God. Well, they are combining the different multicultural centers, and I'm very upset about that. So I'm taking a break, come back. Going to talk about University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee students are frustrated as the school consolidates multicultural centers into a single hub. Horrible idea, and as an alumni, I'm going to speak on this with great authority and passion. You're listening to The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes, who is unkeyed to the city. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
It's recognizing that there are people in the world that only have one word on their mind and heart when they become emotional and something happens to someone they like. They become irrational, they become fixated, and they do to others what they believe was done to them. The one thing everybody in America right now today, with the death of Charlie Kirk, the one thing they need to fear is retaliation.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
When we talk about, say, people of color, it is assumed that the interests of people of color are exactly the same. And every so often when we get into conversation, I'll use the term just like as a blanket term, just like minorities, whatever, because minorities are put into a particular category in American statistics and demographics, and it's not fair, but I know that we sometimes have to tell a story about how minorities are disenfranchised and how there are programs that seek to address the disenfranchisement of minorities, and you'll have programs like affirmative action and diversity, equity, and inclusion for this cohort of people. But within those cohorts, there are specific groups, and when we lump them all together, we wash away the identities and the histories of those individual groups. It's almost like when you talk about LGBTQ, I'm missing letters, LGBTQIA, and then they add a plus for all the other things that we may have forgotten. As a heterosexual, cisgender, straight person, and I hate that I have to say all that, but in the world of sexual preference diversity, I have to identify myself as such. I remember back in the day when I was just a dude, like, I don't know, right around the 90s, I'm just a dude, a fella, but now I have to identify how I view the world through my sexuality. Heterosexual, that means I like the opposite. Cisgender means I look boy and I act boy. And so I just want to give you all that perspective, because for some people, my perspective is it's patriarchal and it's toxic, but not to me. But when we talk about LGBTQIA+, I want to be very sensitive when I'm addressing this very diverse community. Us straight people think that they all have the same issues. Like they're all lumped together, like they're all friends, like they all hang out together. They absolutely are not. But because I am not in that group, it is easy for me to paint them with a broad brush. And they're individual people. And you know what's crazy about the LGBTQ plus IA movement? And they have made some political progress over the years. We could point to a number of things, whether it be domestic partnerships being legitimized. Hell, when I worked for the city 22 years ago, the city of Milwaukee had domestic partnerships. So if you were a city employee, this is before domestic partnerships were even a thing. Gay marriage didn't come until, 2014, 2015? But if you work for the city of Milwaukee, this probably goes back to the 80s or the 90s, and you were a couple, even if you weren't married, you could enter a domestic partnership for the purposes of benefit. So if you lived with your significant other, regardless of whether they were the same gender or sex as you, you could include them on your health insurance and your retirement benefits. It is something that organized labor unions fought for. So domestic partnerships have existed for a very long time. But that, of course, is not the same as marriage. And so I would look at marriage equality as progress for the LGBTQIA plus community. But at the same time, those individuals are, in fact, individuals, and their movements are also different. So when you put all people of color in the same basket, and I think it's very easy for white people to say, oh, people of color. And what I want to say is that within the differences that exist amongst all people of color, we don't all get along. In fact, sometimes we are very much against one another. A Latino from Guadalajara, Mexico, would probably be considered a person of color, even though they can't have blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin. I don't even know how we decide who is and isn't person of color. It's almost like nationality, because you can be from Ecuador and look white, speak only Spanish, but then you would be considered a Latino, which is a person of color. It's stupid. And I can tell somebody black didn't come up with this idea nor this concept. But somebody from South America, Central America, Mexico could be a conservative Republican and support Donald Trump. But then they get lumped in with an African-American Democrat who supported and volunteered for Kamala Harris, yet they are both people of color. So with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee now consolidating all of these different multicultural groups, because you'll have a black student union, and you probably got a Jewish student union, and you probably have a Latino student union, and then you got the gays. You probably have a lesbian group and a gay group, and they should exist because campuses are supposed to be diverse. And the other thing about the diversity on campus, that does not mean that everybody is going to come together and going to work together. Now, you may attend class with these folks, but that does not mean that you like them, that you agree with them. So when you're on these very diverse campuses, you need to hold space where people can be with like-minded people racially and culturally. I know when I was at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, there was so I didn't really do black student union stuff because they were a little bit too cliquey for me, and maybe they've changed, but this is back in the 1990s. But I had all black academic advisors, and they had their own offices in Bolden Hall on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. If I was having a bad day, if I wanted additional notes for a test, like they had all of the resources that I could possibly need. Because here's one thing I will say about the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They went as far as a university could go to retain African-American enrollees. So when I enrolled at UW-Milwaukee in 90, good Lord, 96? The African-American freshman attrition rate was like 60%. Black students would enroll and would not, like 60% of them would not complete their freshman year. And the university found that to be shocking and actually embarrassing, especially in a city that at the time was approaching majority-minority status. I remember my days at UWM and walking around that campus all day long and barely seeing a black person. Like, I would see a black person in a class here or there, or maybe passing through, or maybe a couple at the Union, but for the most part, I barely saw any. You got to think about that. It's a university. It's our flagship university here, and no, not Marquette. Shout out to Derek Mosley, former judge Derek Mosley. He actually works for Marquette right now. Every time I see him, I bash Marquette. Well, and the fact that Derek Mosley is from Chicago. So Marquette is just, no thank yous. Not even really a real college, is it? Sorry. Well, it's not. It's not. It's just, it's a place where people pay tuition to walk in the buildings. I'm sorry. Marquette people are so sensitive. And there's only like 6,000 of them. There's not even really a lot of them. But our flagship university went as far as it possibly could to retain African-American students, because you have a city that was approaching majority-minority status. By the year 2000, that 2000 census, it probably showed that Milwaukee was damn close to a majority-minority city, but the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and I still remember these statistics, so it was shocking to me. The enrollment was somewhere between 20 and 22,000 when I was there in the late 90s. And there was like 800 minorities of all racial, ethnic, and cultural affiliations. That's a problem. Now, it could be that some racial minorities went to other colleges and universities. Maybe they left the state. Maybe they went to Stevens Point. Maybe they went to UW Green Bay or UW Stout or UW Platteville or the beautiful campus of UW Eau Claire. But in the city of Milwaukee, the biggest and most diverse city in which we have a flagship university, the diversity was poor. And then you have the affinity groups and the affinity clubs. I'm going to take a break, come back, because each of those groups of people that would be considered diverse need to have their own spaces and places, because they interact with campus life differently. They interact with one another differently, and they interact with white students differently. Remember, in America, college campuses have not always been hospitable to black and brown people. In fact, for generations, they wouldn't even let us enroll. When James Meredith went to Ole Miss, they had to send a National Guard. And he was 27 years old. His ass was old when he went back to school. He was like, I think I'm going to go back and get this degree at damn near 30. And white folks at Ole Miss tried to kill him. So Eisenhower had to send in a National Guard. So a single black man, if I'm not mistaken, James Meredith was a veteran. He probably came back from Korea. Said, oh, let me use this GI Bill, further my education. White folks didn't want him on campus. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Every child deserves a school that sees their brilliance. At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe in high expectations, strong character, and academic excellence starting as early as age of 3. MCP scholars continue to outperform their peers across Milwaukee. And the best part about it all, Milwaukee College Prep is tuition free. If you're looking for a school that partners with you, challenges your child, and prepares them for college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is the place. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to learn more. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Life isn't a single moment. It's a shared ribbon that bends through the years. It binds us to the things and people we love most. One insurance company knows this because they live it. For 100 years, we've been with your family for the moments that matter most. Erie Insurance.
Find a local agent at erieinsurance.com.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
I caught an Uber in the evening, and my show comes on. The playback is at 6. It comes on. My show comes on at 6 to 9. The driver was Somalian, and I was just, in the back seat. And so he was listening to my show, and we was talking about what was going on in Minnesota.
What was his take?
No, he liked my show. He liked it. He liked my show. He didn't know it was me, though. He didn't know that the person that was on the radio was in his back seat. So what was funny was I was listening to me and listening to how he was listening to the show. And so I asked him, I said, you like that show? And he was like, oh, yeah, I love that show.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Some of Chris Van Valkenburg's best times at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee have been had through the school's LGBTQ Resource Center, one of the school's several multicultural centers. It's also just like a community that's built, and that's the main takeaway that I had when I go to the resource center. She said, it's really the people that you meet there and being able to form relationships with your peers that are going through the same struggles and processes you are, Van Valkenburg said. And I love that for her. Walking around a campus, maybe you're out of the closet fairly recently. You just graduated from high school. Now you're at this big old campus. You don't know anybody. And you want to be able to connect with people in which you know you are going to have similarities and common ground with. And I take nothing away from the gays. I can't imagine how difficult that must be, especially if you have unaccepting parents. Folks like that need a place in which they can come together with other people that have similar experiences. And for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and I know why the university did it. They don't want to raise the temperature with the Trump administration, and the federal government does give grants to colleges and universities. You also know that anything related to diversity, equity, and inclusion and affirmative action is not only illegal, but it has been made unconstitutional. So the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, in attempting to save face and likely save funding, just combined all of these different groups and organizations of diverse students, including the Black Student Union. They've combined them all into one hub. I think it is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I also believe that with the tuition that people pay, and it's not just the tuition, it's fees too. Some of those fees, whether they be segregated fees or non-segregated fees, pay for these groups of diverse students to have their own place, to have their own space, to be able to put on events like a Black History program or some other kind of exhibition that is unique to this particular group. You've got to make young people and older people feel comfortable on campus. Campuses are microcosms of the cities in which they are in and also the world. Because in the real world, there's all sorts of African-American affiliated groups that I can join. I can join the NAACP. I can join the Urban League. I can join a number of different clubs, agencies, organizations. I can join a Black church. I can join the Black Realtors. I can join some Black entrepreneurial group. I can join Black political action committees. college campuses need to be able to reflect that too. And the fact that they are combining them all together, I think, is going to be problematic, because here's what's going to really happen, and maybe this is something that's good. It will expose the raw nerve that exists between some of these marginalized groups, these people of color groups, these minority groups, because we don't all get along. Our community does not necessarily see eye to eye with the Latino and Hispanic community. We don't. We might, at the end of the day, have a political affiliation or a political connection. You would think if you don't want to get deported and don't want to have your kids like snatched out of school, even though your kids are citizens, you're not a citizen, you're working on your citizenship paperwork and you have like a work permit to be here. Like, you don't want ICE snatching you up or going and snatching up your child from school. And then when you go try to get your child back from ICE, they snatch you up too. So I would imagine that someone who is in that predicament, which is literally happening in this country right now, they may want a Democrat in the White House. So do we as black people, for a number of reasons. So there might be a political connection between us and this Latino or Hispanic person who fears deportation. But culturally, we don't really have a lot in common, mostly because they come from another country. They have a nation. They have a nationality. Not only that, the nation and the country and the nationality that they have probably has a stronger, more trusted democracy than the one we have here in the United States. So there are so many differences and nuances, a lot of times that white people don't see. White people may think to themselves collectively, and when white people think collectively, it has an impact on all of us, including them. Oh, we'll just put all the minorities together, all of the people of color together because, they all get along. Just take a moment to think about that critically. So first of all, that's not true. Because you got issues between the gays and the straights, the Easterns and the Middle Easterns, the Northerns and the Southerns, you name it, we are stratified. But if and only if white people said, oh, well, it's fine to put all of the minorities and the marginalized and the people of color together. They don't need their individual places and spaces. They don't need their individual identities because, they're all people of color. Think about that for a second, because that could be a real logical and efficient way for a Caucasian person to say, look, we've got to reduce costs. So instead of having a black student union and a Latino student union and a place for the Asian students and a place for the Jewish students and a place for the first generation people who are first generation in college, or having a space for maybe the older non-traditional students, because you got some people going back to college in their 30s and their 40s. Instead of those people having their own unique spaces and places on campus, you just combine them all together, because as far as whiteness is concerned, we're all the same anyway. And if people of color, minorities, are in fact marginalized, it's white people that are doing it. And then the white people can very easily think, well, we screwed over each and every one of these groups individually, so just lump them all together because as far as whiteness goes, we're all the same. But come next year, the programs will look different. The University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee announced Wednesday it will be creating a, quote, new student-focused center that will integrate the existing services and spaces into a single hub. It raised flags for Van Valkenburg. She says, when I read the email, I was instantly mad. I knew this wasn't a consolidation effort. This wasn't trying to make this more accessible to students. It wasn't trying to bring students together. It was a financial thing, Van Valkenburg said. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee says it will retain the full-time staff members from the centers. However, they may be restructured. Van Valkenburg fears the consolidated center would force programs to lose their identity and has concerns that this move mirrors similar changes around the country to shed diversity, equity, and inclusion programs following pressure from the federal government. All right, you can see it right now. Some black students may not want to be in this new consolidated multicultural center with the gays. We as black people still have a tremendous amount of rooted homophobia. And I personally think it's ridiculous. It's why I poke fun. It's why I created my list of things that are gay, because it's literally ridiculous. However, men that are on Pinterest probably are gay. It's the most unusual thing ever because all of us got gay people in our family. You know every gay person in your church choir. Some of your pastors are gay. I'm not judging. Some members of our very own families, yet for some reason we're homophobic. And I can see that being the biggest problem, combining the African-American students and the cultural center that they had. Now they're sitting over here next to the gays. I mean, there could be some common ground there because doesn't a lot of gay culture, especially drag queen culture, I don't know if I want to call that gay culture. Drag queen is like its own phenomenon. But doesn't it steal a lot from black women? Like the mannerisms, the vernacular, like there's a connection. You know what Rhea understands. But if you combine the two, there would be animosity. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back. I'm going to talk about some of the unintended consequences of just lumping all of the minority student groups together under one multicultural umbrella because they are all different. They all have different nuances. They may be politically aligned, but that's probably about it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's homecoming for the Milwaukee Panthers. Tune in Friday night as the Milwaukee Panthers host the Wright State Raiders at the UWM Panther Arena.
Jackson step back three is good. See Jack buries it. Panthers got to close strong. Kone with a strong move right down Main Street.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
They're trying to roll over and do what they can and not get their funding cut instead of not protecting and defending their students. According to the center's frequently asked questions page, the evolving federal landscape on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, was considered as part of the planning discussion, but providing services in a manner to best improve student outcomes was the driving factor. I think that these groups, and I'm going to list the different groups they're going to put under one umbrella, and once I list these individual groups and these different affinities, they're not going to get along. You lose some of the privacy. Black folks can relate to this. When we get together, there are things that we discuss, and there are ways in which we talk about our world, our worldview, our society, our politics, our families, our community, that nobody else should be able to hear. Do you understand? There are clandestine conversations that black folk have when we are together that are just meant for us and our ears, because someone who is not in our cohort may hear how we talk and get offended, because, I'll be honest with you, it's offensive, but it also isn't for you. I sometimes put my show in that category when somebody comes up to me, and it happens, it's a little less frequent now, but somebody will come up to me and say, "Oh, Sherwin, I don't like your show. I don't like what you talk about. I don't like how you say it." And they got this whole laundry list of things that they don't like. The topics, how I deliver the information, you name it, they got a complaint with it. And I don't get upset. I just simply say to them that I'm not talking to you. You are not my audience. And stop trying to make yourself a part of a conversation that was never aimed at you in the first place. And I don't know what it is that it's a white people thing. And I've heard this from white people exclusively. "Oh, Sherwin, you're supposed to be bringing everybody together. You're on the radio. Screw you. I wasn't the one that split us up. I'm talking to my people. Because I am not, like them, going to just pretend or forget or cast aside our history and how our history shapes our reality to this day. That's stuff that white folks do. So I have an obligation to have these conversations with black folks, because if it was up to white people, they would have us forget our whole history. At the same time, they make us remember theirs. And so that's divisive to white people, because they don't want to know about, hear about, learn about anything that happened to black people, especially the bad stuff, because they know that they have some cultural responsibility and connection to it. So they try and shut me up by saying, "Sherwin, why are you always bringing up those divisive topics?" And I say right back to them, why were your people so divisive in the first place? In an email to TMJ4, a UWM spokesperson wrote, quote, "UWM's commitment to individualized support, intercultural education, and celebration, and student advocacy remains unwavering. The new center will combine 8 current resource and cultural centers." Now, I want you to imagine, close your eyes if you can, unless you're driving, then don't close your eyes. Imagine all of these different groups, what I'm about to list, all under one umbrella, all in one place, all in one space, all in one big room on campus. Because what we would do is we would go to our classes, and if we had a break between our classes, we would go to the Black Student Center and just kick it, just lounge, just relax, chop it up with folks, network with students, talk to the academic advisors, maybe go through the course book and start planning what our next semester is going to look like. But you're around all black people. It was the closest thing to being at home, and I felt comfortable because I knew that everybody down there could relate to me. They either were a student or they had been a student on a predominantly white campus, and there is a difference. And it's a difference that white people will never feel, because most white people would never go to a historically black college or university. But if you are black and you go to a predominantly white institution, that's exactly what it feels like. The Black Student Cultural Center, First Generation Resource Center, the LGBTQ plus Resource Center, Military and Veterans Resource Center. Now remember, these are all going to be under one umbrella, all in one room, all of these folks. The Off-Campus Resource Center, the Roberto Hernandez Center, the Southeast Asian American Student Center, and the Women's Resource Center. What the hell? When I read each and every one of these bullet points of these 8 different groups, some of them have nothing in common. Some of them have more in common with white folks. I would argue the LGBTQ plus movement is a white movement because there is racism that is wrought in that movement. And the political side of it is extremely racist. First generation students have no business because these are older folks. And a lot of these would be freshmen and sophomores. Because you really need those resource centers when you are new to campus and you are new to higher education. You're gonna have 55 and 62-year-olds that are returning to school with 8. Some freshmen are 17 years old. Their needs are different. Like, you're gonna have people that have like families and kids and grandkids and are dealing with a school, work, life, family balance in the same place as someone who's worried about deportation from the Trump administration. All combined on the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee campus under one umbrella and likely in one room: Black Student Cultural Center, First Generation Resource Center, LGBTQ Resource Center, the military and veterans. The vets need their own space. To combine them with all of these other affinity groups, because if your specific group has particular needs and needs attention, where are you going to get it from? Because everything is not going to be combined and shared. The Off-Campus Resource Center, I don't even know what the hell that is. The Roberto Hernandez Center, that's for Latinos and Hispanics because it's named after one of them. The Southeast Asian American Student Center and the Women's Resource Center. You know what this is also going to do? Make it easier for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol to come and deport people from this center. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Yes! We got some news for you. Sister Bailey.
Yes!
Inform Truth Nation.
Yes!
What is coming and what they need to do.
They need to mark their calendars.
Yes!
For Friday, February 20th, for the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards.
Read!
Hosted by Home of Love.
Yes!
And your girl, Bailey Coleman.
Talk to me!
Celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. And here's the important part.
Yes!
Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017thetruthAwards.com to learn more. Woo! 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Venue 3.
We gonna be there! We gonna be there! We gonna be there! We gonna be there!
The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. If you have parking tickets, you probably should pay them. And also, if you're a reckless driver driving recklessly, well, now the city of Milwaukee has the benefit of more toothy legislation where they can tow your vehicle. It appears in 304 tows. The city has collected $118,000, and there are likely thousands of vehicles that could be qualified to be towed because of the excessive unpaid parking tickets. I'm going to get to the details of the article in just a second. Apparently, a number of you, thousands of you, have been sent letters. I would say take heed of that letter, because ain't nothing worse than going somewhere. Maybe you got to run a real quick errand. But it's usually when you are going somewhere and doing something that you have no business doing. You just got to stop here real quick. You ain't going to be long. You just got to go and take care of that thing, even though that's a thing you don't need to be taken care of. You're going to go take care of that thing real quick. Ain't nobody going to know. Ain't nobody going to see you. And so you go to the place and you take care of that thing. You're at the thing place, and you got the thing in your pocket. You went and took care of that thing, and you come out, the damn car's been towed. You don't want that, because they won't tell you, and they'll sneak up on you. So we'll get to the details of that in a second, but I want to read some commentary via the YouTube chat and also via 833-212-1017. Praising the Lord in Brown Deer says, I have heard Sherwin in the past say he's not interested in being recognized for any awards, especially when they gave Tory Lowe the Tory Lowe Day. No. I don't want a Wisconsin Broadcasters Association award, nor do I want a day. But also, there's politics involved in awards. I want a key to the city because I want it. Some of those other awards that get bestowed on people, let me give you the political definition, because I come to find out that a lot of our people are not very political. Awards can be used as manipulation. A lot of them are. If you want to silence your critic or manipulate your critic, give them an award. What's the lady that won a Nobel Peace Prize? That gave her a Nobel Peace Prize to Donald Trump? So that now, because Trump very well could have criticized that woman because she potentially might be the next leader of Venezuela. But because she gave Trump a Nobel Peace Prize, now he loves that woman even more. Let's say that I am just beating up on elected officials every single day. I'm saying that they're worthless, they're useless, all they're doing is taking taxpayer money. And let's say that I accuse them of hiding money and embezzling money. And let's say I look at the elected officials in Milwaukee and say, yeah, it's their fault we're living in these conditions. And let's say I'm blaming all of the elected officials, especially the black ones, on the crime in Milwaukee and the poverty in Milwaukee. And I'm blaming the mayor and I'm blaming the common council. Let's just say I'm doing this. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not actually doing this, but let's just say I just hammer on them all the time. And I make the people, the body politic in this city, the community, the residents, the citizens hate their elected officials because I am basically doing something like Trump would do, is giving you someone to blame for the poor decisions you made in your life. And I blame black elected officials, and I blame all of them. And if one of those black elected officials says, you know what, Sherwin, we really like your strong advocacy. You're really fighting hard for your people. We want to present you with an award. That person will stop criticizing those black elected officials. You give someone an award to shut them up and to shelve their criticism. That's how awards are typically given out politically. I want a key to the city because I like the way it looks. And that's not somebody giving me a key to the city, because I don't bash Cavalier Johnson, because I have an appreciation for how, not only how difficult his job is impossible. You can't lead Milwaukee when no one will listen to authority. If somebody tells you what you need to do, how you need to be more disciplined, how you need to save your money, how you need to be more attentive to your kids, how you need to take your kids to the library, how you need to get your kids additional homework help, somebody would take that as offensive. You can't tell me how to raise my kids. You can't lead a city when people do not want to listen. In fact, if we have leaders in this town and they were elected because they do have a proper path for us to follow so we can be a much better, much more prosperous city, some people would defy the leader's words just because they want to rebel against something. So we are an impossible city to lead. It's like people will screw their lives up so bad, and they know that they did. They will then blame a black elected official for why their kids are in jail. And that's what we do. But if you're overly critical of someone or of a system, or it's a way in which a system can cater favor to you, if you're lukewarm on an organization and they give you a plaque, then you're going to treat them a little bit better, aren't you? That's how awards are oftentimes doled out politically. Me wanting the key to the city is totally different. I earned my key. I want it before I'm dead. Homer has a key. Homer got his key from Tom Barrett. I should have hit Tom Barrett up for my key. But back then, I don't think I hadn't earned it yet. I didn't think so. And also, it would have looked like nepotism if Tom Barrett would have given me a key, because I work for Tom Barrett a lot. And if he gave one of his former congressional employees a key, and I worked for him during his first term as mayor, I worked on one of his first campaign for governor? The first campaign for governor in 2002. That just would have looked, it would have devalued the key had Tom Barrett given me the key. Homer totally, absolutely deserves and earned his key. But because I was too close to Tom Barrett professionally and politically for so long, if he gave me a key, it would just look like, oh, Tom Barrett is giving the key to one of his people. Let's see. Reginald says, I could go for $900,000. Where do I sign on? I don't know about $900,000, but if you listen to Dr. Ken Harris's show today between 4 and 6, somebody going to get $5,000. Now, let me just go ahead and say this. We appreciate each and every one of you that have called and that have entered. You better have your phone handy, because we've done it before. If we call you and you don't answer, you send us the voicemail because you don't recognize the number. Ha, ha, ha. Somebody going to get your 5 stackers. Okay? Make sure you answering the phone. This is the first thing. Second thing is, please be excited. Now, some people are. Some people are not. The first, because we used to give away $101.70 5 days a week. Headache. Nightmare. It was an administrative headache. People wouldn't, because it's a contract, between us and Gruber and you all, and there's paperwork you got to fill out. People would give us email addresses that they don't check. We'd send them things that they would have to sign. They wouldn't do it. So if somebody won the $101.70 on a Monday, we send them stuff like, hey, fill out this form and you can come get your money. They would just show up on a Tuesday and just want to be paid in cash. We had a lot of that, so it was a headache. So we said, okay, let's just combine all the money and let's do $5,000 every 3 months. It's basically the same $101.70. We just add it all up and give it away once every 3 months. So the first time I gave it away, the $5,000, I was like, I couldn't contain my excitement. Like, holy smokes, I've never given away this much money before in my entire life. And it's going to go to someone who listens to our show. And I was just incredibly happy, and I was overjoyed, and I was just so excited. And I remember we made the phone. The first couple people didn't answer. But then I think the third call, it was a young African-American woman. And I was like, oh, my God, congratulations. You just won $5,000. And I'm really yelling at the top of my lungs because, like, adrenaline is going. Because that's a big deal, you know. And we were a new radio station at the time. This might have been 2020, maybe 22, when we started giving away the $5,000. And this woman was just like, oh, cool, thanks. I was like, what? Okay, well, what are you going to do with the money? I thought maybe that would animate her, talking about what she's going to do with the money. Because whenever we talk about Powerball, people get really excited if they start talking about what they're going to do with the money. So I was like, let me engage her on what she's going to do with the money. She's like, I'm just probably going to pay some bills. You know, just maybe put a little bit away, might do a down payment on the house. And she just didn't even care. And then when she came in, because we used to do a ceremony, we don't do the ceremonies no more, maybe because of that lady, because she just didn't even care. So we used to have these gigantic game show checks, you know, big-ass checks. In fact, it used to be in this studio for years. It used to sit against the wall. You would just wipe the name off of it and just put the new name on this big old game show check. And so David Gruber would come in person, and the winner would be holding the check. I'd be on one side of the check. David Gruber would be on the other side of the check, and we would take a photograph in front of this big-ass game show check, and then David Gruber would, like, sign it, this huge check, and we'd stand by the truth banner. We don't even do those no more, because that lady was just like, okay, and where do I stand? Yay, okay, thanks. And then she just left. So please be excited if you win the $5,000. Let's talk to someone who I know would be excited if she won $5,000. Hello, Lisa.
Hey, Sherwin, how you doing? How you be doing?
Good.
I'm hot. But Sherwin,
I bet you are.
I'm listening to you. Shut up. I'm listening to you, and you said, you know, you deserve a key to the city, right?
Goddamn right I do.
You know what you deserve a key to?
Huh?
I believe you deserve 2 keys.
Okay.
A key to alcohol and beverage, and restauranting, yeah. So, boy, you know how to drink and you know how to go to a restaurant. You know how to eat. Jesus Christ.
Where's all this coming from? I mean, yes, I do know how to eat. And guess what, Lisa? Your ass know how to eat, too. You got a mouth and some teeth and a throat.
You know what? I made a steak, green beans, what's a New York steak or ribeye, and green beans and mashed potatoes, right? You know, I only ate like a fourth of it. I can't eat beef anymore. What's the man? And I get about 5 or 6 steaks in my refrigerator. What the? That ain't. Oh, goodness. Somebody gonna have to get my
Lisa, for me, food is culture. It is a way to travel without barely moving. It is a way in which I connect with people and I network with people and I ease tensions amongst groups that may disagree. We break bread. And I'm not one of those people that just goes to this restaurant, just goes to that restaurant. It is a way in which I can explore the city. And one thing that I've noticed about you is you constantly complain that there's nothing to do in Milwaukee. It's because you don't get out. And one of the reasons why I have my 11 o'clock segment called The Milwaukee Experience, because I think there's a lot of folks like you that think there's nothing to do here because you have not been made aware of all the things to do. I take great pride in the fact that we have got Michelin star rated restaurants and 3-star and 4-star and 5-star restaurants all around this city. And I enjoy going to them because that's also a part of my recreation and leisure time with my friends and my family. Eating and food and the experience of it is communal. I don't just eat just because I'm hungry. Sometimes I go get an appetizer and just hang out with my friends. It's a cultural thing that a lot of us don't quite understand. Yeah.
I must say I envy you in a good way because that's what I used to do. But I can't eat no more.
Then don't eat.
I can't eat no more.
Then don't eat, Lisa.
I mean, you know what? That's why I lost so much weight because I don't eat anymore.
How much weight you lose?
I envy you in a good way.
How much do you weigh now?
I lost I weigh about 155. And I'm steady losing. Well, my niece be like, why are you losing weight? I'm like, I don't know. You know, like this cup of coffee, it's good. I'm fine. And
well,
I won't eat
coffee
the rest
is
of
an
the day.
appetite suppressant. Caffeine will suppress your appetite. That I know for sure.
Well, I would love to go out because I was going to get my brother girlfriend and we was going to go kick it at different restaurants. But I'm like, we will only have to get one plate because I can just nibble and you have to eat the rest. Because I don't mind spending money. I'm used to spending $150, $60, $70, $80 on myself, appetizer, and entree and dessert if I do get dessert. But I'm used to spending that much, so I don't mind, spending the money on the food, but I just can't eat no more.
Lisa, I got a question.
I'm going to make more. Yeah?
I was told that if men are out to eat together or if a man and a woman are out to eat together, is it gay for the man to order dessert? Like, shouldn't he wait for the woman? Is ordering dessert a woman thing? Like, can a group of guys say, hey, we'd like to see the dessert menu, or is that gay?
No, why would that be gay?
Okay, I'm just curious.
But I wouldn't want him to order my dessert because I'm not a dessert person. If he ordered me chocolate, I'm not a chocolate person. If he ordered me a pie, I'm not a pie person. So, yeah, I'm very funny like that. So I'm very selective.
But
so,
it's not gay if a man orders dessert.
No.
Okay.
Look, y'all stop that gay stuff.
Exactly.
Man,
Stop
it.
it.
Gay.
Exactly. Nothing is gay.
Stop.
Or everything is.
No, ain't nothing gay. Why it got to be black men all the time?
Because black women are the first ones to call us gay. If we don't want to sit up under black women, don't want to be with them all the time, you always call us gay. If we don't want to be hanging around you, but then when we hang around you, you say, go do something else. You too close to me. Get up from underneath me.
There's a difference between a black girl and a black woman.
What's the difference?
A woman will know that she will never say that's gay. She was like, oh, I thank you. Whatever you think that's best. Or she'd be like, well, I'll choose for myself because I'm very selective, like I would.
Okay.
But, that's gay. Why that is so.
They say it all the time.
You know what?
So then I went on like this mission to try and figure out, okay, well, what is and what is not gay. So I had a lunch. It was myself and 1, 2, 3. It was 4 of us that had lunch, all brothers, all dudes, right? And one of the guys in the group, all very masculine, heterosexual men. One of the guys, the biggest guy, the most masculine man of the group was like, oh, yeah, can I see a dessert menu? And I was like, well, hell, if he asking for a dessert menu, then I want to see one, too. I got carrot cake. It's delicious. I took a picture of it.
You know what? That's just so silly.
It is silly.
That is just ridiculous.
And the carrot cake was delicious.
If he ordered, just because he ordered dessert, can I have a dessert menu? That doesn't mean everybody else wants a dessert menu.
But he broke the ice, though. He made it okay because he's like an alpha. He's like, can I see a dessert menu? I'm like, oh, excellent. Now dessert is okay. Unless he's gay. Then all of us are gay.
Not be okay.
All right, let me ask you this. Okay, so let's say there's 4 of us at the table. 2 of us ordered dessert. The other 2 did not. So the 2 that didn't order dessert, what if, of course, with their own forks, if they say, hey, can I get a little bite of your carrot cake? Can another man share dessert? Can me and another man split a piece of carrot cake together? We're not going to feed each other. But can 2 men eat off of the same dessert plate?
Yep. Okay. I do it all the time. Here goes.
You're not a man, Lisa. That's different with women. Women can do all sorts of lesbians. Nope, it's different.
No, and that's the thing. Would I be a lesbian if I share my carrot cake with another woman?
No.
Does that make
you also can kiss another woman when you greet her, and nobody will think twice.
I can't.
If I walk into the studio and kiss Andrew on the mouth to say good morning, people would have something to say, including HR. Women can be much more physically affectionate with one another and not be accused of being a lesbian. I can't even physically touch another man. We can do that man hug thing. Like, that's about it. And we're playing sports, I guess we can grab each other's asses.
I'm not kissing no other lady on her lip because I don't know where her mouth been. I give you a kiss on your cheek, whatever. But I'm not kissing you on the lips unless you somebody special to me.
What about on the cheek? On the lips might be a stretch. What about on the cheek? Like, I greet my female friends by kissing them on the lips.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not kissing. I don't know where your mouth been. And then some of the girls say, I know where your mouth been.
Hey.
You told me where your mouth been. So, no, we good. We're good with just a hug. I don't know if I want to kiss you on the cheek.
Where's the mouth been?
Some might have been slapping.
Where's
the cheeks been, they be slapping on them cheeks.
Where's the mouth been?
But anyway.
Huh?
You know what?
No, I don't.
And they didn't mess with that be messing with that pipe.
Messing with the
I don't be messing with nobody else's pipe. That's her pipe.
Oh, pipe.
She could do whatever she could do whatever she want to do with her man's pipe. Or whoever pipe she be working on.
What?
I don't yeah. She can, some ladies do a lot of piping.
Peter Piper picked the pack of pickled peppers. But Lisa, I got to go now because I have to take a commercial break.
Have a great weekend, my love.
All right, you too. Bye-bye, Lisa. I was asking for it. So 2 men can share. I don't know. I don't think I'd feel comfortable doing it. The only people I share food with would be a significant other, or so my family, because it's the 3 of us now. But when we go out to eat, like, we'll all order different food, and if my mom orders something that my brother wants to try, like, he won't ask her to try the food on her plate. He'll just take his fork, and then that's what we do. We don't even get upset about it. I think it might be just a thing that our family does, but any food that's on the table immediately becomes communal. I know that all families aren't like that. Some of y'all are territorial over your food, but we share like that. So I'm going to take a break, come back. Like if Zach ordered a flourless chocolate cake, I don't think it'd be cool if I got my fork and said, Zach, let me try a piece, and I break off a piece of his flourless chocolate cake. And he looks at me, he's like, it's good, isn't it? And then he gets a piece, and then he feeds me a piece. I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. And
leave my chocolate cake out your mouth.
I'm trying to. I just ordered my own. But what if I don't want a whole flourless chocolate cake? I just want a piece of yours. Did you hear what I was saying earlier?
You said you want a piece of my chocolate cake? Is that what you just
said? First of all, your cake isn't even chocolate.
My flourless chocolate cake?
You're more creme brulee. But is it gay if 2 men share a dessert?
As long as we don't make eye contact.
Ooh, oh, God, that's worse. So if we look away.
The banana split.
Yeah, we did. We just look down, start talking about sport. Yeah. You see the Packers? Yeah, Packers sports.
So you think
you think Giannis getting traded? Yeah, okay. And then we can share a piece of Dutch apple pie. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to Bucks legend Terry Cummings. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Thompson.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee's new towing policy has resulted in the collection of over $118,000 in unpaid parking tickets and the towing of 304 vehicles since its implementation on November 1st. Want you all to be aware of that. But let me go to 833-212-1017 and see what kind of old texty messages we've been receiving. Thank you, Miss Nikki. See there? Somebody's on my side. She says, Sherwin, you truly deserve a key to the city. In fact, I'd gladly advocate for a day in your honor, ideally during Black History Month. It would be a day dedicated to inspiring Milwaukee residents to become more informed, engaged, and active in the political process, following your example. From your mouth to God's ears, Nikki. Now, when it comes to a day, I don't need a day, even though, if you want to mark your calendars, on February 10th at noon, the Milwaukee Common Council is honoring me for Black History Month on that particular day. I'm not saying that you all have to show up at City Hall wearing your Sunday best at noon. You don't have to do that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Al? Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Al. Hello there.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, you know, I heard you talking about people getting their cars ticket and towed. You know, to be honest.
Yes.
So what? Let them tow them.
Let them tow them.
Y'all knew y'all had these tickets. Y'all just didn't find the tickets important. Y'all find everything else important. That's not important.
But Al, what if it's not fair, though? Sometimes it's not fair. If you just got to run in real quick somewhere and you come out with a ticket, it's not fair. But Al, what if there's no other parking nowhere on the street and you got to park in the no parking? It's not fair.
Well, then you got to find a choice. You create the choice. If you get a ticket, pay it. Y'all pay for everything else. Y'all paying for in-house D.
What?
Y'all got people busting your windows out. Y'all got to pay to get that fixed. So go on and pay the parking ticket. Why put that big bag of stress on you? But we got to stop making black people look so we have this thing with being impoverished and struggling, whether it's parking tickets, getting happy about Section 8, or getting some type of help. Because, like, prime example, there's one of these commercials like, well, people don't got money like that. So what? You knew when you got the ticket, you had to pay it. You got 30 days, but you decided to pay it. So why should somebody care? We don't. But they'll get happy over Section 8. Oh, they'll put somebody on the paper. They showing every white tooth in their mouth. They get happy when somebody put a GoFundMe to help you pay your rent. Why do you need help paying your rent and you got a man using your vessel every day, every night? You're just a toilet. When I got 3, 4 kids and we struggling on rent, you got a man in your house.
But what if the man is broke? What if he doesn't have any money, Al?
Well, then that falls on her and that vessel. That's your decision and your free will. So take that same free will and get that Altima or that Chevy Cruze or that Chevy Equinox or that big back minivan that you let him drive with the lopsided headlight out. That's your fault. We don't care. But here we go. Somebody gonna come and say, "Well, you knew people might not got money like that." Who gives a F? Did you care when you parked it? Did you care when you drove it? Tomorrow's going to be first. It's going to be a whole lot of vessels being used, and you still going to pay your rent after the 5th. So we don't give a F. We don't. Handle your business. I just had it's just irritating because it's something to always make black people look stupid and destitute, or it's somewhere black people all got to come together because everybody is dictated of being broke and impoverished. It's just sickening. But I just had to call and say, and one more thing, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, please.
If you people don't vote, shut the F up. We don't care about your opinion. If you sitting on your ass waiting for Helkiah Walker or Yahweh or whoever the hell it is, shut the F up. You don't vote. You're a matter of convenience. And if you are a matter of convenience, y'all always show up at the last minute. So if you don't vote, shut the F up. That's it. We don't care about your opinion because it's getting so stupid. But they always want to talk when it comes to something that has no effect. Oh, well, you got all these migrants coming in. You don't vote. Shut the F up. Oh, they're getting welfare. So what? You don't vote. So you said, care how much welfare? And then furthermore, why do y'all even care about welfare? Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
Your food stamp's going to be gone in 3 days. You worried about some effing welfare and people getting their rent paid, but you got a whole man taking dumps in your vessel. You need to concentrate on your priorities in that vessel. While you worrying about how somebody getting welfare. But let me get off of here because I'm going all over. It's Friday.
Yes.
Have a good day. Get your car washed. Get your mouth washed. And just have yourself a good weekend. But if you don't vote, shut the F up. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Al. He said, get your mouth washed. I should have asked, wash your mouth with what? Okay. Well, that was a pro-democracy, pro-voting message from none other than Al. And I'm sure Al does approve this message. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Journey team, it's me, Coach Erica. Happy New Year. Are you ready? Because the time is now to begin your journey to success. This is your season to level up. Keep striving, keep pushing, and keep doing. No more waiting. No more excuses. Your journey starts today. For more information or to connect with me, visit EricaOdomJourney.com. That's EricaOdomJourney.com.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the Deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Since November 1, Milwaukee's new towing policy has collected more than $118,000 in unpaid parking tickets and resulted in the towing of 304 vehicles. That's according to Milwaukee city officials. The ordinance targets habitual offenders, defined as drivers with 5 or more parking tickets that are at least 60 days past due, and allows for vehicles to be towed even if they are parked legally. I use the word vehicle, and I say it. I come to find out that's a weird way to say it. But also, I don't know what... I can't even say it the way you guys said. The other word, the brown little, the tree nut. Y'all say pecan. Pecan? That's a pecan.
Pecan.
Yeah, that's a pecan. A pecan pie.
Yeah.
I don't know what a pecan. What is that? I don't know what are you from England? It's pecan. Aren't you from the South, Andrew?
I am from the South.
So when someone says pecan, you don't really question them.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I think pecan on the tree, pecan in the pie.
Nah, it's pecan everywhere. In my mouth, in my pocket, on the tree, in the pie. As a topping on the carrot cake that I had the other day, and it's pecan.
You're making me so hungry with this carrot cake.
Oh, it's so good. I took a picture of it and put it on Instagrams. Yeah, I like a good carrot cake. I can't eat it all the time because it make you fatter than you already are, but it's very delicious. When I refer to automobiles, I use the term vehicle, but I drive a car. That's weird. Is that weird? I think it's weird. Like, Zach drives a vehicle. When I leave the station today, I'm going to go get in my car. Like, I'm not getting in my vehicle. I'm getting in my car. Zach and Andrew get in their vehicles. I'll ask them, hey, do you warm your vehicle up before you drive to work? You don't have a vehicle? Oh, you live right around the corner, though. You know what? That's actually really neat, Andrew, because for so many years, they wanted to make Milwaukee downtown walkable because we were never a walkable city, ever, ever, ever. In fact, most old school Milwaukeeans are opposed to walking. Like, we drive we'll drive around a damn corner and end up parking in the same parking spot. But the fact that you are able to live downtown and work downtown, like, that's the whole point. Because in big cities where they clearly have better transportation options than we have, especially because the city of Milwaukee writes a lot of tickets. You shouldn't have to have a car. Cars are expensive. Cars have to be insured. Cars have to be maintained. Cars can be dangerous. People drive recklessly and they hit your bumper. If I come out of wherever let's say I'm at the store or who knows where I'm at. Apparently I go to restaurants more than everybody else on the planet. You ever come out and you see somebody who parked like a quarter inch away from your back bumper? That's disrespectful. If there's not enough room for you to like comfortably walk between a parked vehicle, you can't park there. Oh, people are so reckless. Anyways, city officials have sent out 30,000 warning letters. Wait a minute, you got to mean to tell me. Got to be kidding here. There are people in the city of Milwaukee with 5 or more parking tickets that are at least 60 days past due, to where 30,000 warning letters have been sent out. It says nearly 1,000 people have paid more than 3,000 tickets so far, with all of the extra revenue going back to the city. I do, in some cases, think that how we lose half of street parking in certain neighborhoods from December 1 until March 1st, because we have to have those sides of the street clear for snow removal, but it essentially cuts the share of available street parking in half, and it does make it very difficult. Now, I know a couple of little secret tips and tricks of how you can park and not get a ticket, but I can't share it with you, because if I share it with you, then I'm going to lose my edge and my advantage. There are certain... I'm not telling you. This is my problem. I already shared too many secrets. Quote, there's always people who have 5 or more, but what we're really looking for is compliance, said Milwaukee Parking Services Manager Pete Knox. We don't want people going around just thinking they can park anywhere they want. I'm not going to pay my ticket regardless. The process for retrieving a towed vehicle is straightforward. Individuals can either pay citations up front, pay the tow fee and leave with their car, or fill out a form for municipal court, pay the tow fee, leave with their car, and attend a court date for citation payments. If the court date is missed or payment is not made, the vehicle will be towed again. Because I tend to see things through a racial lens, because I'm looking for places in which there is equilibrium and fairness when it comes to the racial distribution of like fines and tickets, because I'm still caught up on the whole mass incarceration thing of African Americans. So if there's something that is related to fine, forfeiture, and restitution, I want to see if there's any racial differences. So I did a little digging. Just a little bit, not a lot of digging. I just wanted to see if there are any racial differences. And you want to know what I found? 69% of citations were issued to black drivers. What are we doing, blacks? Is this our fault, or are they targeting black vehicles? I can tell if a vehicle is driven by a black person. I can racially profile a vehicle easier than I can racially profile a person. Let me tell you how. African Americans are not driving Honda Civics. African Americans are not driving Jaguars. We're not. I mean, even an old Jaguar, we're not driving those. We are partial to the Hyundai and Kia family. If you drive a Hyundai or a Kia, and even if you aren't black, you might as well be. You might as well be. Like, you might as well just listen to R&B and know how to dance real good. What's another vehicle that we don't drive? We really don't drive a lot of Toyota Camrys. Not really. Not really partial to Toyota Camrys. The Chevy Malibu can go either way. The Chevy Malibu is either single black mom who's a CNA, but also white woman, 22 years old, who's deciding to go back to school for accounting. The Chevy Malibu will throw you for a loop. So if I see a Chevy Malibu in my police cruiser, if I was ever a cop, I was like, I don't know. It'll be a crapshoot who's driving this vehicle. We do love the Infinities. The Infiniti G35 is an absolute favorite amongst the African Americans, preferably with a crooked front bumper. One headlight should potentially be out. Let's see. The SUVs. I think the African Americans are partial to late 1990s Chevrolet Trailblazers with major amounts of disrepair and rust along the rear fender and the quarter panels. That's an African American vehicle. I'm just trying to figure out why 69% of traffic tickets are issued to African American drivers. Do we speed that much more? Do we violate the law that much more? Do we seriously have this reckless idea when it comes to driving and speeding and where we park our vehicles? 16% of citations are issued to Latino drivers and 13% to white drivers. African Americans make up about 39% of the city's population, and whites are 46% of the city's population, meaning African Americans receive far more citations relative to their share of the Milwaukee population. 73% of municipal court fine cases, which are often generated by traffic and other city violations, involve African American defendants, even though African Americans are less than half the city's population. Ladies and gentlemen, what gives? Are they targeting us, or are we just, and this is embarrassing, it is, especially because they're now towing vehicles. And whatever the results of this new ordinance is going to be, so we're going to do a study, I'm sure, at the end of 2026. We're going to see how many vehicles were towed. We're going to look at how much money was collected, right? How many fines were paid, how many tickets were paid. And then there's going to likely be some demographic information, because when your vehicle gets towed, we know who you are. And if we know who you are, or at least we know who the vehicle is registered to, and there's racial demographic information associated with that, if you know the registration details of that vehicle, it's going to end up being very similar. 73, 75, 81% of the vehicles that were impounded by the city of Milwaukee belong to African Americans. And as I'm trying to figure out how we can solve some of these problems, is some of it our recklessness, or are they targeting certain zip codes? Because I know that when you target and whenever you police an area, you're going to get more tickets. You are. If I put more cops in Elm Grove, I would show you more arrests. If I put more cops in New Berlin, I could issue more speeding tickets. So the more police you have, the more violations you are going to find, because here is what I understand. All of us break the law all the time. We do. There's so much law, it's easy to break. Speed limit is 35. Well, you got to get there. You're going 42. You're breaking the law. Don't put your seatbelt on. You're breaking the law. No turn on red. You got to turn on red. It says no turn on red, but you got to turn on red. You cannot turn on this red light, but you got to turn on the red light. You just broke the law. Windows tinted, broke the law. Have not yet registered your vehicle for the current calendar year. You're a moving lawbreaker in that regard. Oh, you want to smoke that marijuana while you're getting on 94 East? Breaking the law. Do you have a firearm in your glove box and you don't have a concealed carry permit? Breaking the law. Do you have a loaded firearm within arm's reach in a vehicle in which you do not have a CCW? Breaking the law. It's too much law. We break every single law all of the time. Did you change lanes and not signal? Could go directly to jail. You just broke the law. You get paid next week. You're going to pay your car insurance next week. But between now and next week, you are breaking the law, breaking the law. You're listening to a show that does not break the law. We break rules. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
Been listening to you guys for probably a month. It's some change now, and this is one of my favorite radio shows, and I'm 24. So, like, I used to think talk shows was like an old head thing, and y'all got me hooked.
Welcome to Truth Nation.
We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, there are nearly 2,000 drug-related crashes every year in Wisconsin. Help prevent drug driving, and let's achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Departments of Health Services, Transportation, and Justice.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. You think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You need to stop breaking the law, blacks. You're getting a bunch of tickets. Let me read some of these comments. I know when I talk about stuff like this, people have wonderful, incredible, funny things to say. Reginald said, I got towed with one freaking ticket in 2021. Good. Pay your ticket. If you don't pay a citation, I don't even think they'll let you register your vehicle, right? So if your vehicle registration is due, where you have to sometimes get an emissions test, I don't think you can register your vehicle if you have unpaid tickets. And then Reggie says parked legally at that. So the story I was reading from, Reggie, it says that they can tow your vehicle if you have unpaid parking tickets. Now, they have a threshold. It looks like a minimum number of tickets, and some of them, or at least one of them, has got to be more than 60 days old. Even if you are, in fact, parked legally, they can come and get your vehicle. And they said they sent out 30,000 letters, so this is a pretty significant problem. Ma wants to know if this applies to women. Maybe there's more context with your comment, Mao, but are you trying to suggest that women park illegally? Is there a difference between the way men and women drive? Does gender have anything to do with how someone handles a vehicle? I'm genuinely curious. Uh-oh. All right. Who is the better driver? Who drives more carefully, more cautiously, Who is more trustworthy on the road? People with boy parts or girl parts? Well, I guess we have to be more inclusive than that. Who drives better? Gays, straights, transgenders, bisexuals, or whatever the I stands for. Like who in the continuum of sexual orientations, I bet the queers probably drive perfectly. Hands at 10 and 2. Actually, nah, the queers only drive with one hand.
I have a stat for you.
Yo, you do?
Males are more likely to be involved in a car crash than females. 3/4 of all fatal car crashes in the United States are males.
That's because we are swerving to not hit a woman who's driving poorly. That's probably exactly what it is, because we are trying to drive properly, but a woman is like, oh, let me put on my lashes and my eyebrows and my wig and my nails. Let me change my shoes. Fellas, if a woman has a messy car, leave her. Oh, can you reach in the back and grab my bag? No, not that bag. No, not that bag. No, my shoe bag. I need to change my shoes. Here, go find me some pants in this bag right here. Go on my gym bag. Here, open the trunk, crawl through the back seat and go in the trunk and get my tennis racket. Women have all sorts of things in their vehicles. I don't understand it. Why do you have so many things in your vehicle? You know what's in my vehicle? Nothing. Nothing. There's no McDonald's bags on the floor. There's no Starbucks cups. There's none of that. There's no eyebrow pencils. None of that is in my vehicle. And if there is some of that in my vehicle, it's because a woman left it there. Will says, I don't see too many of us driving Teslas. Ooh. I got a confession. Don't be mad. I think Teslas they're nice cars. Some of them are nicer than others, obviously, but they're nice.
Some of them are fast.
Yep, they're fast. And you know that I'm partial to electric cars anyway, because for many years I drove a hybrid. So
you see the benefits of having one.
Totally. I totally see the benefits. And some of you are saying, I can hear you, like, oh, Elon Musk is a racist. How could you drive a Tesla? Sherwin or whoever may drive a Tesla. That's what they'd say. If I suggested buying a Tesla, they would say, oh, no, Sherwin, Elon Musk is a racist. And you know what? I could very easily say to that person who wants to stand on some kind of racial righteousness, yeah, and your boss is racist and you go to work every single day. A lot of white people that make stuff are racist. So what are we supposed to do? If we lived in a world where we didn't purchase anything that was created, produced, or distributed by a racist, we would all be naked. We probably wouldn't even be here. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3. Stay tuned for our segment, The Milwaukee Experience.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th for the second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017thetruthAwards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Office, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall.
It's homecoming for the Milwaukee Panthers. Tune in Friday night as the Milwaukee Panthers host the Wright State Raiders at the UWM Panther Arena.
Jackson step back 3 is good. See Jack buries it. Panthers got to close strong. Kone with a strong move right down Main Street.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's giving me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And as you guys know, Hour 3 on Fridays is the Milwaukee Experience, where I share with you some happenings and things going on around the city of Milwaukee so you can get out and explore all of the incredible adventures this city has to offer. You know, Museum Days is set to end. That just goes through February 1st, and I certainly hope you guys took advantage of going to many Milwaukee museums for discounted prices. But as Museum Days comes to a close, I want you to know about so many other incredible things to do in the city of Milwaukee. I know the ladies like to dance, don't you? You like to cut a rug. We've often had discussions about women loving to go dancing. We've also questioned, can men have the same kind of freedom to go dancing? Fellas, as you're sitting around thinking about what you're going to do this evening, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the temperature is going to be a little bit warmer, but we are expected to get a little bit of lake effect snow. Speaking of which, I got to get my snowblower back. I sent it off for repairs, and it has since disappeared. Revel is having a release party tonight where self-care meets the dance floor, a Milwaukee ladies dance party. Fellas, stay away from this one. This is for the ladies. They want to be able to go out on the dance floor and enjoy themselves and express themselves without you breathing all heavy on them. Fellas, leave the ladies alone. Let them have their fun. It's an early dance party for the ladies who'd rather dance it out and be in bed before midnight, shake off the holidays, and hit the dance floor with Revel Plus Release tonight, January 30th, Milwaukee's early night ladies dance party. And some of you ladies don't like to be out late because, you know, after 12 o'clock, Zach, ain't nothing open but Denny's and legs. You know what I mean? You want to be at home before that happens, because if you're out past midnight, and you might turn into a pumpkin. Grab your girls and plan to move, sweat. Ooh, sweating women. And laugh and thaw on Mad Planet's iconic dance floor, curated by Interwoven's Teresa Kopak and Rebecca Jankowski, alongside event producer Grace Fuhrer. This isn't just a party, it's a reset. The holidays are over, the routines are back, the weather is heavy. This is your chance to shake it all loose. Self-care doesn't always look like rest, ladies. It can look like bass in your chest. Warmth in your body and a beat that pulls you back into yourself. Oh, this looks like a lot of fun. I think I got confused because it says Revel and Release, and I thought it was going to be held at the nightclub Revel. It's not. It's going to be at Mad Planet. Let me tell you, Mad Planet is one of the most underrated hidden gems in Milwaukee. I've been going to Mad Planet since I was in high school. It's on East Center Street, tucked away in the River West neighborhood. It is like a retro-themed, old-school dance club discotheque that features some of the most diverse DJs you ever would consider. I absolutely love Mad Planet, and tonight they're doing an event specifically for the ladies. Now, it doesn't say men can't come, but this is specifically designed for the ladies. It says, skip the late night grind and lean into the early set from 7 until 10 p.m., where DJ Lolo sets the tone from 7 until 9 with feel-good, body-moving tracks to get the floor warm, followed by DJ Don Black. Oh, I know Don Black. He works at 88.9. So if he's a man and he's going to be there, I can say, hey, I'm here to see DJ Don Black. Or maybe they frown upon men entering the establishment. Hey, ladies, can I borrow one of your wigs? Because I know some of y'all got a wig I can borrow. I can pretend to be a lady to get in. Skip the late night grind and lean into an early night set from 7 until 10 p.m. DJ Lolo sets the tone from 7 until 9 with feel-good, body-moving tracks to get the floor warm, followed by DJ Don Black from 9 until 10 with special request hour, your songs, your joy, your moment. I know this is set up for women because women will make song requests of a DJ unlike any other. And as I understand it, DJs are not too keen or too fond on women coming up and wanting to hear their specific song. But at this event, at Mad Planet tonight, this early DJ set for the ladies called Revel and Release. Ladies, you will have your time to make your request. Revel and Release is welcoming of LGBTQ as it is an affirming space. This event centers care, consent, and community, and all who attend are expected to show up with respect and openness. Come as you are. You belong on this dance floor. So for those of you that want to be in a very inclusive space, Mad Planet is a spot for you. Doors open at 7 o'clock. And then we have Ice Bear Fest that returns on Saturday, January 31st. Milwaukee's ski-themed dance party and beer fest you have to experience to believe. Rock your colorful ski gear. Dance to DJ spun 80s hits and live covers from Mixtape, and explore a fresh to death vintage pop-up packed with ski retro gear and clothing. Lay a base with Hue Vietnamese hot donuts from Bayview City Snowballs, then take your best shot at the 4 p.m. costume contest. Or a shot ski, a fan favorite at this establishment. So there you go. Where is this place at? Never even heard of it. Ice Bear Fest is going to be at Third Space Brewing on North 9th Street. What else is going on this weekend in the city of Milwaukee? What else we got? What's this? Zach said Monster Jam is going on. What is this? The Fisherman's Daughters. What is this, a movie? I got a whole list of stuff here. This heartwarming Wisconsin musical filled with touching songs and homegrown humor celebrates the connections we all share as family, community, and the land around us. This musical is a testament to the power of sisterhood and self-discovery when a governor's order uproots the small village of Fish Creek. I've been there before. It's in Door County. To make way for Peninsula State Park, two sisters must confront their fears and fight for the home that they love. This charming show comes direct from Northern Sky Theater and celebrates the deep connections we share with our family, our community, and the land around us. With touching songs and homegrown humor, you'll treasure this funny, fitting love letter to a slice of our great state's history. Quote, musical theater of high quality, says Kate Dahl, and this weaves a beautiful story. That is one of the positive reviews, and that is going to take place at the Associated Bank Theater Center, which is 100 East Wells Street, and that's on Saturday from 8 until 10 p.m. A whole host of things to do in the city. What do we got right here? Let's see what Visit Milwaukee has to offer. A Scotch evening with Rory Glasgow, a U.S. brand ambassador. Let's see, for those of you that like Scotch. I know Al, our Al that likes to call in. He's a connoisseur of Scotch. Join us for a seated Scotch whiskey seminar featuring Rory Glasgow, National USA and Canada brand ambassador for Brown-Forman's portfolio of single malt Scotch whiskeys. Rory serves as the leading voice for the Glendronach and Bernioch and Glasgow distilleries, sharing their history, production, and craftsmanship with consumers and industry professionals across North America. During this guided Scotch tasting, Roy will present and discuss Bernioch's 16-year-old malt, the Glendronach Ode to the Dark, and the Glasgow Saddened. As a native of Edinburgh, Scotland, Roy began his whiskey career while working with one of the city's top whiskey bars. The seminar offers a rare opportunity to engage directly with one of the industry's leading Scotch whiskey educators in an intimate setting, and that's going to take place at Waterford Wine and Spirits, and that's way out in Delafield, 631 Genesee Street in Delafield, and the price is $20. What about some family-friendly activities? Got to do something for the children. Spend less of your family vacation waiting for the fun to start and more of it making memories with many of Milwaukee's best family-friendly attractions located right downtown or just a brief drive away. Fewer hassles mean the fun can start sooner. It's time for a vacation that's fun for you and them, and you'll find it in Milwaukee. Let's go to attractions and see what we have. You want to visit a museum or take a boat tour or explore free art, or maybe you're just not sure yet. Whatever your trip to Milwaukee might include, oh, don't you worry. We're here to help. Whether you're looking for the best brunch spots or where to get out and get active, these must-see sports activities or things for history buffs, a bachelorette weekend, that's not family-friendly. I've seen things happen at bachelorette parties that should never happen on this planet. Fully planned, these guides will give you picks for the top food and drink. The Black Holocaust Museum, the Bronze Fonzie, the Discovery World Museum, of course, the Fiserv Forum, the Frank Lloyd Wright Museum, the Harley-Davidson Museum, the various lighthouses, the Art Museum, the Milwaukee County Zoo, the Olmsted Parks, and, of course, one of my absolute favorites, the Milwaukee Public Market. Well, there you go, guys. Just a handful of things that we have going on this weekend in the city of Milwaukee, and thank you for joining me for the Milwaukee Experience. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Wisconsin winters can be tough, and so are higher energy bills. The Community Advocates Milwaukee County Energy Assistance Program is ready to help you. Eligible Milwaukee County residents can receive help with their energy bills and weatherization benefits to keep you warm and help you manage your heating and electric bills. Schedule your personal appointment at keepwarmmke.org or call 414-270-4653. For more details about locations and hours of operation, go to communityadvocates.net. This program is administered by the State of Wisconsin Department of Administration.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you're so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
New year, new savings for property owners. Odom Investments and Property Management is kicking off the new year with a special offer you don't want to miss. Half off your first month property management fees. Whether you own one property or a full portfolio, let our experienced team take the stress out of managing your investment. Start the year strong and save money today. Call 855-ODOM-WAY or visit odomhomes.com. That's odomhomes.com.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This morning we posted a poll on YouTube, as we do every morning. I'm shocked at these results. It's rare that I'm shocked by the responses of a poll. I usually have a pretty good idea of how people are going to answer, at least in the majority. This one is shocking me. In order to vote in our YouTube poll, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes or search 1017 The Truth, either way. Hit subscribe and you'll be able to not only participate in the YouTube chat, but vote in the poll. The poll is very simple. Have you ever joined a protest? I would assume that most of you have at one point in time, because there's been a lot to protest at really any point in time in the city of Milwaukee. Maybe you were a part of the No Kings protest, or maybe you protested one of the many different instances of abuse of power by the police or the killing of an unarmed African-American man. There have been many in the city of Milwaukee over the years. Or maybe you have joined many just anti-violence protests or pro-immigration protests. There's been so many. In fact, there is a protest for every grievance. Maybe you protested the RNC. Maybe you protested the first Republican political debate that they had here in the city of Milwaukee. And I would think with the number of issues that people are very upset about, one of the first things that Americans do is they take to the streets. There was a phenomenon that took place in this city and in many cities, in fact, all over the world, if not on all 6 continents. And it was the murder of George Floyd by Derek Chauvin. That got people up and out of the house, even during the pandemic, even in small towns, even in very red conservative areas. They would be protesting and marching in the streets because even folks who may have their own sentiments about George Floyd and who he was, they still agree that his murder was heinous and disgusting and that Derek Chauvin should not have done it. They protested. There's been so many opportunities, but the results here are very, very fascinating. So those of you that listen to this show or watch this show or participate in the YouTube, with 82 votes, only 37% of you have participated in a protest. 63% have not. I am totally shocked by that. In fact, even if the numbers were reversed in this particular poll that we have on YouTube, if only 63% of you had participated in a protest, I would consider that low. But it's actually 37%. Or is it that you find other ways to let your voice be heard? But I want to be inclusive of all forms of protest. I have been out on the streets. I have marched. I have chanted. I have even led protests in front of the district attorney's office on multiple occasions, especially when a police officer acted in a way that goes against, let's just say, community standards, and we would want the district attorney to file charges or at least have there be an investigation that could bear some fruit. And oftentimes when John Chisholm was our district attorney, he simply refused to file charges, even against the best wishes of the community that elected him. The unusual thing about our district attorney here in Milwaukee County is they're a partisan office, and we have had Democratic district attorneys for going back to E. Michael McCann. He got elected in 1969, but there's something that they had in common. And I would bring this up very often, and it's really, really disturbing. From E. Michael McCann through John Chisholm, and that's a full generation of DAs. E. Michael McCann was first elected or appointed in 1969. John Chisholm left in like 2023. I don't even know what the math is on that. That's like 50 years, right? Give or take. More than 50 years. Probably closer to 60 years. They did not often charge police officers, even when evidence and body cameras suggested that they should. So when E. Michael McCann was DA, body cameras were few and far between. They did exist during John Chisholm's term, and there has been a number of times. And I know that my colleague and my friend Tory Lowe, in fact, he and I protested John Chisholm on the same day. We got petitions signed to have, at the time, the governor was Scott Walker. I did a press conference right on King Drive, right in front of the Martin Luther King statue. Well, I was given that press conference and all the local media showed up. This was in November of 2016. All the local media showed up. I'm behind a podium, and I had this stack, these binders of petition signatures because people in our community thought that John Chisholm should go. And then Tory delivered the copies of those petition signatures directly to Scott Walker. And I remember giving the press conference saying, as we speak right now, Tory Lowe is on his way to Madison to deliver these signatures to Governor Scott Walker. Here's a little something that people don't know about Wisconsin politics. A governor can remove any district attorney at any time for any reason. There are 72 DAs in the state of Wisconsin, one district attorney for every county. If one is acting in a way that is not sufficient and acceptable to the people of that district, the governor can force that district attorney out. And here's what we thought was going to happen, because politically it would have been to the advantage of Scott Walker, because Scott Walker also had presidential aspirations, you see. We thought absolutely Scott Walker would have the Democratic district attorney from Milwaukee vacated from office. Scott Walker completely ignored us. That was shocking. But there were a number of protests. And the irony about John Chisholm, because I had gone after him, he was probably one of my most frequent targets of my early days being on radio because of how policing was being executed in this city and just the number of African-American men and boys that were killed and that were shot and that were beat by police during Barack Obama's 2 terms it was staggering. You don't really hear about it much anymore, do you? Now, obviously, we have other things that are distracting us, but it's not the shooting of unarmed black men. I promise you, it seemed like it was 2 a week, every single week when Barack Obama was president. And so when it happened in our city, I had an obligation to cover it. And it was always John Chisholm that refused to charge these police officers because between him and E. Michael McCann, the 2 entities that they never charged, even when there was sufficient evidence to charge them, were police and Catholic priests. You explain to me why no Catholic priests have been charged criminally. Do I need to tell you what they did? Let's just say we've had our own Epstein files in the city of Milwaukee dating back to the 1930s. The Catholic Archdiocese here in southeastern Wisconsin has kept shockingly accurate records of every single priest in their jurisdiction that has been accused of child molestation. And they talk about like how they discipline these priests. They published it in the Journal Sentinel and it blew my mind. I read it word for word verbatim from 1937 on down. And they had pictures of the priests. They had the churches and the parishes they served at. So here's what would happen. November 3rd, 1938, priest Robert Smith was accused of having inappropriate conduct with a 12-year-old boy. He was then defrocked and then sent to a church-ordered psychologist. He was given sabbatical, and then he was reassigned. And then they would follow the priest after the reassignment, and guess what the hell they would do? They would reoffend like clockwork until they finally completely banned them from being a priest. But they would be accused, they would be put on leave, they would be sent to a church-ordered or a church-authorized psychologist, and then they were put at another church where they would offend again. And so the evidence was clear. Not only was the evidence clear, the Archdiocese was admitting it publicly because they wanted to clear up all of the accusations and allegations and the actions that were committed by these priests. I am not aware of a single Catholic priest that was ever charged with child sexual assault. And so it almost seems like we have been softened on the idea that when powerful people, and there was a point in time where the Catholic Church was one of the most powerful entities, not just in Wisconsin, on planet Earth. And it also used to be very, very rich. Now, I think they've since filed bankruptcy. At least our archdiocese here has filed bankruptcy. But do you know why the Milwaukee Archdiocese filed bankruptcy? So they wouldn't have money to pay the victims. There was a lawsuit. I think it's called the SNAP Network. I think that might be the acronym. It's the survivor of people that were molested by priests. So they sued the Archdiocese, and guess how much money they got? It's a big group of people, big class action lawsuit. $20,000. Oh, no. Not $20,000 each. $20,000 total for the entire group of people that came forward, that were in the class of people that were sexually assaulted or sexually molested by Milwaukee Archdiocese Catholic priests. They split $20,000, which amounted to pretty much nothing. You'd think that'd be a line in the sand, but it is not. And because there was no enforcement, and it never made any sense to me, other than the fact that E. Michael McCann and John Chisholm are both Catholics. But I understand that because Republicans don't want to impeach another Republican, even though they should. It's the right thing to do. Sometimes Catholics don't want to criminally charge other Catholics. And so all the years that I went after John Chisholm, I went to a fundraiser for Black Arts MKE, November maybe, December. And we were sitting at a table. It's a beautiful gala. It's an annual fundraiser. So Black Arts MKE sponsors and puts on the Black Nativity. That's something that most people are familiar with, that holiday play that takes place once a year here in Milwaukee. And so they have their annual black tie gala. And I'm sitting with some friends and some colleagues at the head table, and guess who's sitting next to me? Former District Attorney John Chisholm. And I will say this. For as much as I talked about him, and I never went after him personally, but I fundamentally and vehemently stayed on the merits and how I disagreed with the job he was doing and how he was not executing the law in a way that I thought was fitting for the safety of our community. He still was very nice to me, and he still was very fair. I think that might be the difference between this current generation of politicians and elected officials and the previous generation. It is the job, the obligation, the responsibility of the media to hold these very powerful people accountable, because they can have a profound influence on our neighborhoods, our communities, and our sense of safety. And if they are not doing the job and not adequately representing the people, so if we feel unsafe, the media is supposed to talk about that feeling that lack of safety that is engendered by these folks not doing their job. And they get it, and they wouldn't take it personal. They know that people are going to disagree with them, but they also know if you are in an elected position, that's half of it. Because even if you win with 54% of the vote, right, which is a sizable victory, right? Nobody's going to question someone who gets elected in the city or in the county by 54% of the vote. But at the same time, 46% of the people did not vote for you. You know what that means? That means that there can be days that go by where you only see and hear from and interact with the 46% of the people that did not vote for you. And of course, their attitudes can vary. Someone may not choose a candidate because, well, you know, they're not good enough, or, oh, I don't like their experience, or, oh, I don't like the color of their tie. I think I'm going to vote for the other candidate. Some people vote for the other candidate because they hate you. I think the difference now, though, is when I speak about the merits or lack thereof of a particular candidate, like some of these individuals that are running for governor in the state of Wisconsin, of the 7, 4 of them have no reasonable shot at all in any parallel universe of being governor of the state of Wisconsin. Some of them couldn't even be an alderman, okay? But they're still in the race and running for governor. And if I talk about how they and their policies and their background and their resume and their experience is not fitting, or if it isn't good enough to represent the people in Wisconsin, if I say that and I'm objective about it, they take it personal. That's the difference. They take it personal. And it makes it difficult to do my job when you have made the choice to be a public figure and you want to represent us. That is no small feat, and it should be the honor and the privilege of a lifetime. But I don't know if younger generations see it that way. I think they have ambitions. I think that they're looking at getting into elected office because they're already looking at the next thing they want to run for. It's like a ladder for them. But you have to do right by the people, because for some of us, the only real voice we have in policymaking is that elected official. And if that elected official is looking past the people and already looking at their next elected opportunity, it sours us on that person. And if I speak about that, sometimes these candidates get mad at me. You know, I've been running into Mandela Barnes quite a bit lately, but I also know what he put us through in previous elections, and we cannot go through that again. With Josh Showman dropping out of the race for governor on the Republican side, the Republicans ain't even going to have a primary. They already have their dude, which means that Tom Tiffany, he just gets to run without having to deal with a primary opponent. Dude gets to run straight through November. Here's the problem. We got 7 damn Democrats in the race, and they're all going to tear each other down and beat each other up. They're going to raise a bunch of money just so they can say negative things about one another. And what do you think Tom Tiffany is going to do? He's going to write down and record and listen to all those negative things that these Democrats in this 7-way primary are going to say about one another, and he's going to use that exact same language against the Democratic nominee. Now remember, of the 7 candidates that are currently running for governor in the state of Wisconsin, 4 of them have absolutely no pathway to victory. Here's what I fear. Mandela Barnes made history in 2018 when he was elected the first African-American lieutenant governor in the state of Wisconsin. All Mandela Barnes had to do was nothing. Sit there, chill, relax, drive around the state, go to college campuses, register voters, raise money for Democrats, take naps, go on vacation. That's all he had to do, because as lieutenant governor, you don't do much. You don't have a legislative agenda. You don't have a policy agenda. You just chill. Wait for the governor to die, basically. And Mandela said, nah, I think I'm going to quit. I think I'm going to leave a position that is historic. Got elected as the first African-American lieutenant governor in the state's history. He's like, nah, this is boring. I think I'm going to run for the U.S. Senate against, at the time, the weakest Republican in the entire country, and that was Ron Johnson. Mandela Barnes could not beat him. Mandela Barnes lost to the absolute weakest Republican in the country. Even my Republican friends were like, uh-oh, Sherwin, we think that Ron is going to lose to Mandela. And when I say Republicans hate Mandela, they really do. He's like the worst Democrat on the planet to them. But they resigned to the fact that Mandela was going to beat Ron Johnson. Mandela couldn't. Tom Tiffany is a stronger Republican than Ron Johnson ever could be. And Mandela has got strong name recognition. He's going to be able to raise a fair amount of money. And if he, in the August 11th primary, beats out the other remaining Democrats that are running in that primary, we will have Mandela Barnes versus Tom Tiffany. We commissioned a poll, a couple of months ago that showed Wisconsin voters would, even with Donald Trump being president, Wisconsin voters would select Tom Tiffany over Mandela Barnes. If we get Tom Tiffany as governor here in the state of Wisconsin, imagine what is happening in Washington, D.C., happening right here in the state of Wisconsin, especially in the city of Milwaukee. But when I say that, that sometimes draws ire from the candidates, especially the candidates that absolutely have no shot at winning whatsoever. I think that's the difference between these candidates now and the candidates back in the day. They could take the criticism. Now, if I'm honest about a candidate, because I think they will screw everything up if they get elected, and they will put Wisconsinites and Wisconsin residents and citizens in a worse position. Now, if it feels like I'm bullying the candidate, I'm not bullying the candidate. I'm sticking up for our people. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
I caught an Uber in the evening, and my show comes on. The playback is at 6. It comes on. My show comes on at 6 to 9. The driver was Somalian, and I was just, in the back seat. And so he was listening to my show, and we was talking about what was going on in Minnesota.
What was his take?
No, he liked my show. He liked it. He liked my show. He didn't know it was me, though. He didn't know that the person that was on the radio was in his back seat. So what was funny was I was listening to me and listening to how he was listening to the show. And so I asked him, I said, you like that show? And he was like, oh, yeah, I love that show.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
You're just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Reminder, Reminder. Be listening between 4 and 6 p.m. this afternoon. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris will be selecting this quarter's winner of the Gruber Law Office's $5,000 giveaway. If you're qualified, this is your window. Keep it right here to find out if your name gets called. Even though we're calling you. Keep your phone on you. Because if we call you and you don't answer, we're going to go to the person that answers. Again, the big drawing happens today from 4 until 6 during Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. Don't miss it. So we're giving away the Gruber $5,000 today. That's really a wonderful thing to do. It's such a good feeling to give people money, especially in these times. $5,000 that'll move the needle a little bit. Pay off some of your credit card debt. Maybe pay your rent and your mortgage a month in advance. You do that, then the next paycheck you get, you don't got to worry about allocating any of that to your rent or your mortgage, to your Barada property. Or maybe it's first month and security deposit on a new place. It's very expensive to move. It is. And a lot of people can't move. And I feel real bad for those folks. Because you might be in a current living situation that is just awful. It's very uncomfortable and things don't work and the heat doesn't work and you call for repairs and they ignore you. You really wish you could move somewhere else. Maybe you get this $5,000 courtesy of 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices, and there you go. You got your first month's. So what do you got to pay now when you rent? You need first month's and security, or do they ever do first month, last month? No, they can't do that. That's too much. So first month's rent plus security deposit. Might charge you extra for pets. There you go. Hopefully that money will find its way to someone who's been praying for it. You know who's been praying, but praying the wrong way? That's Don Lemon. So Don Lemon, former CNN anchor who had a very public disagreement with that network, was terminated from CNN. And he now is an independent journalist. And that actually happens quite frequently. I think it's almost like a natural progression because in these days and times where Donald Trump has got so much impact on broadcast mediums, he's able to co-opt CEOs and get certain people taken off the air. Jimmy Kimmel got fired for a little while in 2025. So it makes it difficult to be fair and objective because we have to be honest with ourselves. If you're fair and objective about how American democracy is being executed right now, you will have a lot of negative things to say about Donald Trump because he is literally violating the Constitution. But if you provide that information to people, just like I said it, right, you would make the Trump administration, including Donald Trump, so angry that they may threaten to pull your FCC license, which he can do. Now, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. But there is nobody holding Donald Trump accountable for violating the Constitution. So if you are a journalist and you really believe in your mission, and it's a First Amendment protection, the right to speech. In fact, the media is the only industry that is fully and thoroughly protected by the Constitution. There are no other industries that are protected by that document. The media is. The right to say what the hell we want and to have redress against our government, all protected. But because this president is such a violator of the U.S. Constitution, even if you are standing firmly on your rights afforded to you as an American or anyone in this country, you don't even have to be a citizen to be protected by the Constitution. That's the beauty of that document. But if Trump doesn't like you, he can threaten your network, and then people are fired. Joy Reid, she was with MSNBC. They got rid of her, and this rebranded the whole damn radio station. And the thing about Joy Reid, when she left MSNBC, and I wasn't entirely a fan of her show because I think she was getting a little too lost in the emotional weeds of what Donald Trump was doing and saying. There's real policy implications and there's real impacts to people's lives. She would more commentate and editorialize how it made her feel. Can't do that. We got to know exactly what the hell is going on and what we should expect policy-wise instead of how it makes you feel, Joy. But Joy went off and she's got her own thing. Roland Martin. I can't stand his big head ass, but he has his own YouTube show, his own YouTube platform. I think he used to be with some black BET News one, or I don't know where. He's got a big ass head. I don't like him. But when he was here, he was disrespectful. I interviewed him because he was here as a surrogate for Kamala Harris. He also did a town hall here in Milwaukee. And there's an etiquette that if you are a host of your own media platform and you go on somebody else's show, so it's not your platform, you're a guest on somebody else's show, there is an etiquette. You defer to the host who invited you to their show in which you are a guest. Roland Martin's big head ass thought he was hosting my show. I didn't like that. And when he was saying stuff and he wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise, he was looking dead at me, dead in my face. I almost didn't want to take a picture with him. I don't know who came in here after the interview was over. I was ready to kick his black ass completely out of here, like with my foot. I think it was Danielle came in and then Kyle came in. Hey, y'all should pose for a picture. Newsflash, for anybody who is coming in the studio with me, I hate taking pictures with people. I hate it. I hate taking pictures in the studio. Thank you, Zech. All right, Sherwin, you ready for a picture? No, I don't. And you know, people's feelings get hurt. It's like telling somebody Santa Claus ain't real. All right, Sherwin, can we take a picture? No, I'm not. What? Why don't you want to? Because I don't know where people are going to use my damn picture. I'm telling you right now, I don't want no pictures taken unless I request it. Don Lemon, former CNN anchor, was arrested late on Thursday on charges that he violated federal law during a protest at a church in Minnesota earlier this month. Abby Lowell, a lawyer for Don Lemon, said that Lemon was, quote, taken into custody by federal agents last night in L.A., where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he's always done, Lowell said. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine a light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that the real indictment of wrongdoing is this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court, and I believe a federal judge has declined to charge Don Lemon with a crime. But here's what he did. And I don't agree with what he did, because if you're an independent journalist and you broadcast, let's say on YouTube, you have to do outrageous, attention-grabbing things so that you can get more views of your content. That's the one thing I don't like about this hyper-competitive nature of broadcasting on YouTube, because there's got to be 15 plus million different content creators on YouTube. So you have to do things that are over the top sometimes to get attention. And maybe it works. A lot of times it can backfire. Well, apparently, and I didn't independently verify this, but I'm going to take the word of other media outlets that they did. There's a pastor of a church in Minneapolis who also is an ICE agent. And Don Lemon busted in the church service, cameras rolling, microphone in hand, trying to get a statement from this pastor during a sermon, because it was made public that this pastor was also an ICE agent. What ensued after that, I don't know. I'd imagine Don Lemon was likely pushed out of the church. While I get why he would pursue that story, and I understand why he would want to go after this particular pastor, because there's a lot of hypocrisy right there, right? Because Jesus probably wouldn't be deporting people the way that the Trump administration is. And I'd imagine the hypocrisy does make for a good story. But here's a problem I have with it. I would not be okay with Customs and Border Protection agents and Immigration and Customs Enforcement going into churches during a service and apprehending people. And if I'm not okay with ICE agents and CBP going into churches, I'm not okay with a journalist going into a church sermon while the pastor is pastoring because it's an inappropriate time. And also, there might be genuine parishioners in that church that were there to get some word. They didn't need to be disrupted like that. And I do believe that we need to have some sacred and or safe spaces in American society other than our houses. There should be places where we can all go and be free from harassment. I would like to think that is everywhere in public, but it is not. It's why the African American civil rights movement was rooted in the church. Other than the KKK members that blew up the 4 little girls in that church in Alabama in 1963, churches were considered off limits to most racists in the Jim Crow South. As long as we were at church, they would leave us alone. When we were out in public and marching and protesting, that was a different story, but they usually left us alone when we were in church because church was considered a sacred place, even if it's your enemy and somebody that you disagree with. But now it seems that there are no sacred places anymore except for the insides of our homes. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Coming back for our last segment on this Friday program. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes.
Y'all just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, Journey team, it's me, Coach Erica. Happy New Year. Are you ready? Because the time is now to begin your journey to success. This is your season to level up. Keep striving, keep pushing, and keep doing. No more waiting. No more excuses. Your journey starts today. For more information or to connect with me, visit ericaodomjourney.com. That's ericaodomjourney.com.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission. College and beyond, MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 101.7 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. Panthers basketball is back in action tonight as UWM celebrates homecoming against the Wright State Raiders. Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 5:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Go Panthers! I'm a UWM Panther. I should have some kind of partnership with UWM because, let's admit it, ladies and gentlemen, even though I don't have a key to the city, I am a wonderful example of what the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee can produce. Look at that. On the radio every day, talking about whether men can share desserts or not. And I still think the men that have a Pinterest account are gay. But no, it's not like it's a bad thing. You guys make it seem like the list that I have, well, you guys contributed to it as well. Carrie put on the list men that wear flip-flops are gay. I resent that. I really do. A flip-flop is an acceptable warm weather summer footwear attire. Okay, not everybody can wear flip-flops. You can't do it. Most men cannot. Most men have very ugly feet. Me, for a man, don't have ugly feet. And also, I got a question for you guys. How do you wear hot socks and shoes when it's 95 degrees outside? Don't understand it. And I'm also not a person that wears socks with sandals. Why do you do that? There's this thing that the young kids do. If you're over 17, you really shouldn't be doing this. They wear the slide sandals with socks. It looks insane to me. Now, we wore slides, too, in the 1990s. Yes, we did. But we didn't wear any socks. I don't understand fashion. I would get an opinion from Zach, but I think he's busy. I just don't understand. But Zach wouldn't wear slides. You don't wear slides, do you, Zach? You're not a slide type guy.
I wear Yeezys.
What's that?
Yeezy slides.
Is it like a normal slide?
Basically.
Okay.
Not a thong sandal, that's for sure.
First of all, they're not called thong sandals. Thongs are underwear. It's called a flip-flop. I don't like the term thong sandal. That's not what you call it. I don't even know where that came from.
It's not a thong sandal, but it's a slide I wear with socks.
What is the point, though, of wearing a sandal if you're going to wear socks? I don't get it. I mean, if people are going to have a foot fetish, let them see that raw foot. Just go raw-footed.
Because if you think, why would I show my feet for free?
Good point. I don't think people buy men's foot pictures. I don't think so. There's not much difference between some men's feet and some women's feet because some women's feet look like dogs that bark. They actually look like zoo animals because not everybody has pretty feet. Sometimes, because many, many years of women wearing uncomfortable shoes, because sometimes the sexiest shoes the women can wear are very uncomfortable. And if you wear those shoes for many, many years, your toes take on a whole nother shape. I saw one lady, her toes were all shaped like the letter S and had the nerve to wear shoes that showed off her toes. And toenail polish doesn't help that. Just curious. So we put together a list of things that, and most of it was tongue-in-cheek. You guys know that. Because it seems that masculinity is always being challenged one way or another. Either it's treacherous, it's poisonous, or it's toxic, or men are not masculine enough. And I think that we're dealing with all of this because the idea of women and femininity is, in fact, changing. And women are occupying places and spaces in America and in politics and in business and everywhere else that they've never occupied before. And it may make some think that, well, if women are occupying these spaces that have always been owned, controlled, and dominated by men, then maybe women are the masculine ones. But masculinity and femininity very much is a yin and a yang. They fit together. One is not bad, one is not good. It is just how it is, and they can work together in a beautiful symbiosis. But if some think, including women, think, well, I'm the masculine one, I'm wearing the pants, then by laws of nature, the man that she is with must be feminine. And I find that men need to push back on that. because roles are changing and women are occupying spaces that we are glad they're occupying because I believe that they rightfully deserve it. That does not automatically make men who are acting masculine, who used to be masculine, now more feminine. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th for the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by Homer Blow and yours truly, Bailey Coleman. Celebrating